and welcome back. Today's video I'm going to share with you how we celebrated Christmas New Year's here in Australia in the Southern Hemisphere, where Christmas New Year's falls during our glorious summer weather. So grab a drink, sit back and relax and watch what we got up to during a couple of weeks of downtime over Christmas and New Year's. I've made a couple of notes so I don't forget what I want to talk about. And I've got a beautiful drink which is just an aloe vera juice with lychee. It's delicious. Now let's get started. How did you celebrate Christmas, New Year's if you're in the Northern Hemisphere, or if you're in the Southern Hemisphere like me in Australia? Did you have a beautiful day? We had the best weather over Christmas, New Year's, and I just thoroughly enjoyed it. Now, my Christmas, New Year's period is not your traditional Australian, Italian. It's really a combination of the two. And this year for Christmas Eve, I hosted at our place. And normally what Christmas Eve entails for us is going to the big market first thing in the morning. I think we were there this year at about 6 o'clock, just so we can get the pick of the freshest oysters, prawns and all the seafood. And I also love to get my beautiful bread from the bakeries there, which I absolutely love. We went to the big market, stocked up on all the seafood, and it was quite busy. We're not the only ones. It's a tradition I feel in Melbourne to get your seafood on Christmas Eve, and the big market is one of those perfect destinations that just has the best selection. Of course, the prices are a little bit elevated, shall we say, for the Christmas period, because I feel like seafood is a staple in an Australian Christmas meal. I know in Italy, my parents used to have seafood on New Year's, and I really can't remember what we used to have at Christmas because I grew up most of my life in Australia, and in Australia we assimilated and we had seafood at Christmas because it just felt too heavy a meal to have meat and veggies on Christmas Day here when the weather was so beautiful. In fact, it was quite warm in Australia this year. We had like 30-degree days, which is perfect, I felt. Anyway, starting off with Christmas Eve, after the market, we ended up at Doncaster to do just some last-minute shopping from Woolies and Coles that we couldn't grab from the market. And while I was there, I met a lovely subscriber by the name of Vicky. She introduced herself to me and said hi. We had a little chat. Thank you for stopping me at the shopping centre, Vicky. I really appreciate it, and I loved meeting you. And for anyone else out there who does see me out and about, by all means do stop me and say hi. I love putting a face to a name and visualizing who's at the other end of the camera that I'm talking to. So thank you very much, and I loved meeting you, Vicky. So after Doncaster and the grocery shopping there, we ended up going back home, and I had a wee little nap because I knew it was going to be a late night Christmas Eve. We were hosting family and friends for Christmas Eve, and I felt like I needed my energies. After the nap then, I got ready and I started getting the food ready. Most of it was pre-organized. I ended up making a lasagna dish just so that we had enough food for anyone who didn't feel like seafood. And I think I took some footage to show you of the spread that we had, hopefully, unless I was living in the moment and didn't take much footage. I ended up wearing my black satin dress from Target with my beautiful red choker necklace that I bought from Zara, and I absolutely felt so elegant and chic on Christmas Eve. Christmas Day, we weren't up nice and early because we ended up going to bed at about 2 o'clock in the morning on Christmas Eve after you tidied up and put everything away and reset for Christmas, so that when you wake up on Christmas Day, everything is neat and tidy. I ended up getting up early, about 9 o'clock, and started getting breakfast ready for the family. And we opened up Christmas presents and then had a family breakfast before we started with our day. Christmas Day, we were celebrating at a friend's house, and so I just needed to bring another lasagna, and I think I brought a tiramisu as well, which was devoured. Everyone loved it. And on Christmas Day, I wore that beautiful Salty Crush colourful dress that everyone suggested I should wear on Christmas Day. So I followed your suggestions and I wore that, and I got so many compliments at Christmas dinner, afternoon lunch, that I felt like a princess, I think, in that dress. It was just so comfortable, so cool and fresh, and it was just so flattering, I felt, and got loads of compliments. So it was a win-win all around. After Christmas Day, our Boxing Day was pretty much low-key, and I don't know about you, but I was eating leftovers from Christmas Eve all the way through to New Year's, and then again after New Year's, because again we hosted New Year's, and all the way through to I think the 5th of January. We were just eating leftovers. We had so much food left over, and it worked out well because it was so warm that I really didn't feel like cooking and organizing and really being, you know, on my A game. I just felt during that period like I just needed to relax. And so the days were pretty casual. On Boxing Day, I ended up taking down the Christmas tree. I put my Christmas tree up on November, early November, pretty much the first week of November, I put up my Christmas tree and my Christmas decorations. And so by the time Christmas is finished and past, I've had the Christmas tree up for a couple of months, and I just feel like after the hustle and bustle of getting ready for Christmas, and also December is a busy period for us, a busy month for us, I feel like starting the year afresh with just a clean slate and having a minimalist look around my house. So Boxing Day and the 27th, we spent pretty much resetting the house. I felt like removing all the Christmas decorations, giving the house a good clean, and then also resetting a couple of areas of my house. My office was looking messy, it's where I do most of the bulk of my work. So whenever I'm busy, that shows the brunt of the messiness. That gave me a burst of energy and made me feel like I was starting off the year nice and reset for whatever the year was going to bring. After those couple of days where I felt the need to just sort of nest in my home and reset it, it was time to sort of go out and explore and just live life a little bit more. So my husband, my daughter and I went for a drive down to Mornington. If you know Victoria and Melbourne at all, then you know what a beautiful suburb Mornington is. It's got a beautiful area along the beach that I just love going to. And we took a picnic lunch with us. We had all the leftovers from Christmas, so there was heaps of food at home. We didn't need to have anything there, although we did stop at a cafe on the corner. I'll link it down below, or I'll put it on the screen here where we went, because it was just such a beautiful cafe and we had a coffee there and just an afternoon chillax. But it was such a beautiful day. It was just beautiful. I love Mornington. I love going down to Mornington, and particularly I think it's called Mother-in-Law Beach. I absolutely love that. It's a very protected part of the bay, so the waves aren't high, and it was just beautiful. I loved it. I feel that for me, I find the beach and the sound of water very restorative for my soul. So even sitting out here with the pool, and I've got the sound of the water in the background with the water overflowing the edge of the pool, I just love that. I love the sound of water, and as I said, I found it very restorative, and I love going to the beach and just spending time out in nature. It's just, we're so blessed in Australia to have such beautiful beaches so close to home. I know there's one particular viewer that's got the pick of 5 beaches where she lives. I went up there last year. Hi, Leanne, if you're watching. And I just loved the beaches in Port Macquarie. It's just such a beautiful area in Australia. And our beaches in Melbourne are different, but the feeling and the atmosphere and the energy that I feel we get from the water and from the beaches, it's just incomparable, not comparable to anything else. I know I get the same feeling when I go for a bushwalk, but the sound of water and the waves, it's just, for me, it's just so soothing and relaxing. Anyway, and I've said about that, that's just something that I love doing. For the next couple of days, I started getting ready for New Year's. As I mentioned, we hosted a New Year's at home with friends. It was a beautiful night. It started a little bit later. It started about 8 o'clock. I made some lasagna. Again, it's just my staple when I have lots of people to feed. It's just such an easy dish that I can make in advance and just reheat on the day or reheat later. That particular batch I made on the day. I made another big plate of tiramisu. My girlfriend brought her famous stuffed vine leaves. She's Egyptian Lebanese, and her vine leaves are just divine. She left them behind for us to enjoy for the next couple of days as leftovers, so we love that. And then there was so much food anyway. New Year's, the kids played in the backyard at midnight. There were fireworks being let off in the area, so we watched those. It was just such a lovely casual evening at home that we didn't feel the need to go out anywhere and be entertained. We were able to entertain ourselves at home, and I just love that about this period. Everyone is generally off work, and so they're more relaxed, and it's just so easy to just get together and just enjoying being with family and friends at this time of year. How did you celebrate New Year's? Is it a quiet one? I know some years I'm in bed by 9 o'clock. So for us to have stayed up till almost 2 o'clock that night as well before everyone left, and then 3 o'clock by the time we tidied up, it was a long night. But what I've started doing, and what I did also on Christmas Eve, is I have a nap in the afternoon now to recharge my batteries so that I'm ready to be able to last the night. So I did that again on the 31st, New Year's Eve, and I found that that helped me to stay up longer, well into the wee hours of the morning, which is very unlike me because come 9 o'clock, most nights I'm in bed. Although now that it's summer, I do stay up a little bit later just because the days are longer and I enjoy being outdoors more. With the new year, well, I feel like I'm no different to anyone else when it comes to New Year. I start off the new year with new intentions, and I did do a video about my intentions recently, which I've linked down below as well. I think many of you have seen it and enjoyed it, and it resonated with you. I know that my intentions last year weren't completed. Not all of them were completed, so they've carried over into this year. And one of the ones that's basically carried over this year is just being more health conscious and spending more time taking care of my body through physical activity. So we all went back to the gym to do reformer Pilates, which is an exercise, a form of exercise that I took up late last year that I'm absolutely loving, and I'm starting to feel some physical benefits, both feeling it and visually seeing the benefits of taking up that exercise. And one new thing that I introduced this year now is I am exercising on either my treadmill or my exercise bike every day. I do an extra 45 minutes of indoor aerobic activity, and I'm not like huffing and puffing and running or walking really fast. I'm just got my iPad on or my little bike connected to my phone, and I watch YouTube videos on that, and I just sit there for 45 minutes exercising, and I build up a sweat. And if I was to talk, I would actually get puffed out from it because you do work out. It's up to you how fast and how much of a workout you want to get. For me, I'm quite content to just sit there, watch my YouTube videos and my favorite YouTubers, and I just get through the 45 minutes, either walking or sitting on the exercise bike, predominantly the exercise bike lately, because I just feel like time goes faster if I'm on an exercise bike rather than on the treadmill. I want to touch base on the heart rate monitor that many of you saw me wear last year during Vlogmas. I was getting my heart rate monitored because I was feeling like I was getting heart palpitations and an accelerated heartbeat at certain times of the day where I really wasn't doing anything. I was just sitting, relaxing in bed at night, and I would feel my heartbeat. And I thought I'd better get that checked out. And we did get it checked out, and my GP basically said, unfortunately, that's the benefits of the change of life. Some things like that happen. My heart rate is perfectly normal. There's nothing wrong with me. It's just something that many women go through during the change of life. So it's just something to not expected, but it's not uncommon, and it's totally fine for it to do that. And as I hit menopause and go through a more advanced stage, then it'll more than likely stop happening. So for the many of you that have asked me about my heart rate monitor, it's all good. I'm all fine. It's just, a change of life. Now, also, as part of resetting my house and restocking my pantry now with more things that I use every day, I ended up going to Aldi and doing pretty much a full restock of the things that I buy normally from Aldi. We'd run out of soap, we'd run out of toilet paper and all the odds and ends. And it made me realize how noticeably the cost of living with regards to groceries has gone up over the last 12 to 18 months here in Australia. And I felt increase in pricing through shopping at Woolies and at Coles. But I felt that even Aldi pricing had gone up. And interestingly, though, the pricing at Aldi was still cheaper, was still lower than the pricing at Coles and Woolies. So I was very impressed when I came home and I looked at how much I'd spent to see that for what I'd bought at Aldi, I would have spent a lot more had I found it and bought it at Woolies and Coles. So I feel like this year I really want to make the most of the opportunity that I have of where I live, because where I live, I've got access to Aldi, Coles, and Woolworths. So I feel like I really need to make the better use of the fact that I do have an Aldi just down the road that I can go and shop at. So I'll be doing that a little bit more regularly. But in the meantime, let me show you here what I bought at Aldi shortly after New Year's. Does this happen to you too? I've just popped out and I needed to go to Aldi because I'd run out of my clothes detergent. We're down to the last dregs. And so I thought, I've been meaning to go to Aldi to buy that because I knew we were running out. But I went there and I just didn't stop at just buying the clothes detergent. I bought everything else. So I thought I would show you my Aldi haul for today. I only needed the soap, as you can tell, as I said. But when you're there and you're used to shopping at Coles or Woolies a lot more than Aldi, you forget how much cheaper Aldi actually is. And I know many people say that Aldi prices have gone up, but Woolies and Coles prices have also gone up incrementally, exponentially, that's the word. And so when I was at Aldi, I realized, like, I buy the home brand of the crackers for whenever we have, you know, a charcuterie board. And I think the lowest that I can get it for is $1.59 at my local Woolies and Coles. But at Aldi, their version is $1.39. So I know it's only 20 cents, but it adds up. I buy 4 packets, so that's 80 cents, almost $1. When you talk about the chips and the butter and everything else, like the cans of beans that I buy from Woolies and Coles, I hardly ever pay 99 cents anymore. They're generally at about $1.49. At Aldi, they're still 99 cents, or at least in my area, Aldi was 99 cents, and whereas Woolies and Coles is actually a lot more than $1. It's $1.49, as I said. So I was there and I thought, you know what, I'm here, and let me stock up on a couple of things that I know I'm running low on. So let me spin you around and show you what I bought. Starting with the detergents, I find that Aldi's detergents are much cheaper, and I don't find that they work any worse or better than the more expensive ones from Woolies and Coles. So I buy the Almart, and I generally buy either the yellow one, which is the Sunshine Fresh, or the pink one, which is the Tropical Escape. And I saw that they had the dishwasher cleaner, and I was there with my husband, and I remembered that I was running low on rinse aid. So I said to him, do you think that this Logix will be as good as the brand that our dishwasher requires? And he said, for the cost difference, this was only $2.99, whereas the equivalent size bottle of the brand that I normally buy, I'll take a photo and insert it here so you can tell, it's generally 2 to 3 times that price. So I thought I'll give the Logix Rinse Aid a try in my dishwasher, and I also then bought the Logix dishwasher cleaner, thinking it probably needs a good clean, and I think that was also $2.99. Staying with cleaning products, I stocked up on the Mold Away. I find that these are really good for the bathroom, and for the toilet, the Power Gel. I got the Marine Breeze and the Spring Flower. I'm fine. I'm partial to either or of those scents, so I was happy with that. I got the shopping bags, not the shopping bags, I got the rubbish bags. And I think that was it for cleaning. So then going on to the cold items, I grabbed some milk. I grabbed some yogurt. I normally buy put it up here on the screen because I've forgotten what it's called, the one that's high protein. But I thought it's not going to kill me to just get the thick and creamy Litos Greek style yogurt just for 1 week. I get about 4 breakfasts out of 1 kilo tub of yogurt. So that'll last me 4, maybe 5 days because I do 3 scoops. Talking of breakfast, I'm just going to jump ahead. I also bought some of the mixed nuts. These, I can't remember how much they were, but these remind me of the mixed nuts packet that I buy from Coles and Woolies, from the other supermarkets, that I used to make my granola. I'm going to insert a picture here and some footage here of how I make my granola because I'm really finessing it and it's delicious. I love making my own granola. I don't understand why I never did it earlier because I love knowing exactly all the ingredients that I'm using and all the quantities of the sugars, and I know that there's no preservatives in it. I mean, apart from anything that I might find in the nuts, but I make everything from scratch. So apart from the nuts that I buy, which really, these only have nuts and no preservatives. They're just dried nuts, natural nuts. So there's nothing else in there except the nuts. I bought the organic rolled Australian oats, which I like to use when I make my granola. And basically those two, along with my dried apples and the coconut that I decided to add in it this time, and the dried apples that I make off of my own tree, and the maple syrup, is all that goes into my granola. And I love knowing that basically it's 5 ingredients: mixed nuts, oats, apples, maple syrup, and shaved coconut, and that's all that goes in my granola. And I'm happy knowing that I'm having something healthy along with my yogurt that I put in there, and then some fruit. So I grabbed milk because we always run out of milk, and I bought mascarpone because I know I'm being healthy with all the nuts and the granola. And then I buy mascarpone because I want to make tiramisu again. The tasty cheese, I realized that at Aldi, it's actually the same price as at Costco. Normally, I do a Costco run whenever I run out of tasty cheese because I buy the 3-pack of tasty cheese. But I realized that the Aldi one, the tasty cheese at Aldi, is also $14.99, which I think is what the price is, the price is at Costco of the tasty cheese slices. I grabbed some butter, and then staying with the cold things, I bought some chorizo slices, some sliced salami for whenever we want to make toasties or sandwiches, some ham and some bacon. The kids like to make themselves breakfast. Some chopped up bacon, some ham, and some onion. That's their latest trend, along with scrambled eggs. So going back to here, I also bought some tuna. Whenever I buy I generally try and buy the Serena tuna because I love the fact that it's a chunky tuna, and I love it with the chili because I just find that it's got extra flavor. But the Serena tuna is a little bit more expensive than the regular tuna. So at Aldi, I know that they've got this tuna here, which is actually a big chunk of tuna. Whereas when I buy the little cans from Woolies and Coles, they end up being shavings of tuna, and I don't like that. I prefer the big chunks. So when I was at Aldi, I decided to buy a few cans of those because I've still got a few of the small cans in my pantry to finish. Chickpeas, 4-bean mix. I am making chicken schnitzel tonight and a salad, and I thought I'd add the bean mix in it for some extra protein, and some red kidney beans. All these were 99 cents each, so that works out really economical compared to, you know, the home brand at Woolies and Coles, which I think from memory, if it's not 99 cents, then it's definitely higher at about $1.29, $1.49. Plastic bags, chorizo, I've done the cold things, yes. Now, along with my granola mix that I have with yogurt, I recently introduced strawberries and pomegranate. Oh my goodness. All I do with the strawberry is I cut it up into halves if they're small strawberries, or maybe quarters when they're this size here. And then I add about a tablespoon of sugar. And what that does, it helps the strawberries macerate and become a little bit soft and tender. And they last in the fridge for a couple of days. So I don't do a big amount. I might do 1 container, and then I add to it the pomegranate seeds. Oh my goodness, it is delicious as a topping to my breakfast. It's like having dessert. I love it, and I look forward to it every morning. So that's the reason for the pomegranate. The organic oats I've told you about, onions, tomatoes, cracker biscuits, the date and apricot specialty crackers, and fig and pumpkin seeds. I feel like they were much cheaper at Aldi than at Coles and Woolies. Strawberries, ham. The Aldi version of the large tissues, which is what I generally buy, were much cheaper. I think this box was $1.99, and I feel like it's the same size as the sorbent or that tissue box that's over there, which I think was $2.99 at Coles and Woolies, because I had to stock up on them this weekend because someone had used the last box and hadn't told me, so we ran out. Chips, I also find that they're much cheaper at Aldi and a larger packet. So I got salt and vinegar, barbecue, and original. Originals are my favorite, but the kids prefer something a little bit fancier. Salt and vinegar and barbecue, they'll do. It's amazing how I buy the chips and they just disappear. I don't know what happens to them. They just disappear and no one knows. Corn chips, I bought a packet of the plain toasted and a packet of the nacho cheese. and brushed potatoes, because the ones I had in the pantry have gone to root. They started rooting, and yeah, I can't use them anymore. Anyway, I think that is all that I bought today from Aldi. And all this came to about $188, which I thought was quite reasonable, because had I bought this from Woolies or Coles, I feel like it would have been more towards the $250, $300 range. So that was a huge haul, wasn't it? And it really, I think it was under $200 that I spent for all that. I don't remember whether I took footage of the actual cost of the shopping list, but of my docket, but I felt like it was around about the $180 mark, which I felt was quite reasonable for everything that I bought. And as you saw, I got some ingredients to make my granola, and oh my goodness, I am a complete convert when it comes to granola. I love it. I made my first batch during Christmas, and that finished within a couple of weeks. Actually it lasted from that time it lasted 3 weeks, and I made a second batch, which I felt was even more improved to my first one, because I added coconut shavings, like a couple of people mentioned in my video in the comments after I made that vlogmas of making granola. And then a couple of weeks later, I ended up having to make some more. So in the shop that I showed you earlier, I ended up using those ingredients to make another batch of granola, and that batch ended up making me a huge jar, and then a second almost full jar of the large Moccona coffee jar. So I have enough granola now to last me well over a month, maybe 4 or 5 weeks, 5 weeks at least. So I'm super excited. I love my granola in the morning. It's my latest addiction. This summer I've been having yogurt, 3 big tablespoons of yogurt with about half a cup of granola and some fruit sliced up. So love it. And now that I make my own granola, I know exactly how much sugar is in it. And in this second batch, or in this third batch that I made, I actually only put about a third of a cup of maple syrup for that whole batch. So it's not sweet at all. The fruit that I add to it adds that sweetness that I feel the yogurt, because I buy the Chobani or the natural Greek yogurt, requires, or it needs, just because I do tend to have a sweet tooth. So overall, what did I get up to over the period? I ended up reading a lot of books. I've read a couple of books that I list here because I didn't bring them out with me, and the author escapes me at the moment. I've just gone blank. But I've read 4 books of hers, just back to back, and I really enjoyed doing that. I just sit here in the shade and just listen to the sound of the water and read my books, and I feel like I really had a good break where I recharged my batteries over those 2 weeks that I had off. And I'd like to finish with a huge surprise, completely unexpected to me. I received my first subscriber gift. I've been on YouTube now for about 3 years, and I've never received a gift. I don't ask for gifts. I don't need you to give me gifts. Watching the videos, watching through my ads, liking, commenting, sharing the video, that's all I ask of you. If you want to support me, there's a channel membership. A subscriber went beyond that and found my details on my channel and ended up sending me a beautiful gift. And I wanted to record that feeling, that emotion, in opening it. So I'll show it down here. I wanted to quickly jump on and just make this post, because the most beautiful thing has happened to me today, and I just wanted to commemorate it and thank the lovely subscriber who did this for me. I've met many of you, and I love meeting every one of you who stops me along the way and just says, "Hi, Deborah, I love your content." And I love the people that watch my videos and interact with me in the comments. It's really what I love to do, and what I love to create a community of like-minded women who enjoy sharing life together. But one viewer went above and beyond and actually sent me a Christmas gift. And so I thought I would open it with you and share it with you, because you really don't have to. You don't have to. Watching my videos and liking, commenting, subscribing, thank you. Thank you so much for sending me a gift and for thinking of me at Christmas. And I wanted to read it out loud. Dear Deborah, wishing you and your family a happy, holy, and safe Christmas. Thank you for sharing snippets of your life with us. Love, Sue. And because you're surrounded by such beautiful gardens, I thought you might enjoy this journal. Oh. Oh, this is beautiful, Sue. Thank you so much. You didn't have to, but from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Look at this gorgeous journal, Nature's Tonic, a year in my mindful life. Thank you. Thank you so much. I hope you've had a fabulous Christmas, and I wish that 2025 brings you everything that your heart desires. Mwah. Thank you all, each and every one of you, for watching my videos, commenting, liking, subscribing. I really appreciate it. I love the community of engaged viewers that we are creating here on this channel. I love the sharing of knowledge. I love seeing how someone commented on another video that I made about Kmart on my other channel, and how there's an app that the Kmart app shows you the pricing, so you don't have to go and find one of those price check stands. And so many people commented after that. There's a whole thread of people saying, thank you, I didn't know about that. So that's just, I love seeing that growth in the community spirit that we're creating in both my channels. But anyway, enough about that. Thank you so much for watching, every one of you. Let me know how you spent your Christmas period, whether you're still on holidays, whether you've traveled, whether you stayed put at home, and how you celebrated Christmas, New Year's, and this beautiful weather that we are currently having in Australia or in Melbourne. I know many of you in New South Wales have had some horrible weather. I hope you all stayed safe and you haven't suffered too much with the rain that you've had. But for the others who have had beautiful weather, I hope you made the most of it. Thank you for watching, and until next time, my friends. Bye.